the creation of the working groups was really when we, I think, became more proactive and we said, okay, here are the resources that exist, here are the gaps. How do we as a community organize to fill those gaps?
We had like a large database of volunteers that signed up, but then like, we kind of needed to figure out how do we get you engaged and like how do we make sure that you have what you need to actually contribute.
The creation of the working groups were a really smart way to help connect people who are passionate about those particular areas of focus and help, bring like-minded people together who were able to then, most strategically deploy what they were, how they were able to help their neighbors and what they were best at thinking at or most interested in thinking about.
So like early on, there was a lot of activists doing things. Like I mentioned earlier, there was the Free Them All team doing a lot of work around getting people out of Rikers, especially people who were stuck there on bail or bond. I mean, a lot of it early on was very much around public health and need.
Simple things like the wellness check-in group. I thought of it as just a buddy system within the neighborhood and making sure people had essentials. I didn't know that we would be able to expand that to installing ACs, getting people heaters, setting them up with financial aid, getting them on assistance programs that already exist, but because of language barriers or technology were in their way.
We were getting so many calls for people who needed groceries. Everyone was out of work and not sure how long it was going to last. Everyone was supposed to stay home, right? So people couldn't access things the same way. And Chloe and Margaret just came up with this idea. They started building relationships with these pantries and then would literally rent a truck every week and go arrange sort of bulk pickups from these pantries and do drop-offs to our neighbors.
There were a lot of neighbors who have always struggled in this neighborhood that had been ignored for a very long time. And I think a lot of the inequity just was highlighted in this moment. And luckily, there are people in this neighborhood like Miriam and Ross who put up a sign it was a beacon to other people who had the same motives to come together. And then through that, the networking began, as we all know. And I think, again, motivated just a lot of people to do something differently than they would have.
They just kept blossoming and blossoming and blossoming as we had more volunteers who had different things that they had to offer. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about being in a network like this is great. Come and join us. Make it happen. We support you.
For me, it's extraordinary how all of the working groups feed into each other. Yes, they're individual initiatives and AMAN has set it up in such a way that people can bite off just as much as they can chew.
Great to see so many people come up with these independent teams. I mean, I know the food team evolved into the People's Bodega. Our new food, and then the food team became the Astoria Food Pantry. So, it's been great to see so many of these teams grow into, their own autonomous groups.
We were very much just problem, potential solution, let's make it happen.